Hi, everybody, and welcome to the CKiW iRADIO 76 presents the SEMA Performance Report. I'm John Sarver, along with the, should we say, General Manager? Manager General.
Thank
Manager
you. Yeah.
General.
We got the title right this week.
Ben Kaminsky. We are here in, we should say that a little bit louder for those in Romania. Ben Kaminsky with a Y at the end, kids. All right, and we are at the SEMA Garage Detroit. There is only two of these little guys in the whole entire world. Maybe there'll be a SEMA Garage Budapest, but not right yet. But pretty soon. So now what we want to talk about real quick is the people that don't know about SEMA. SEMA is what?
Yeah, SEMA is a member industry organization for the automotive and performance aftermarket. And the goal of SEMA is to really help the SEMA business members to succeed and prosper their business by using at the garage specifically the tools and the access to the tools that we have in the garage and all of the industry contacts that we have to help them develop products and develop better products, develop products faster for the aftermarket to, again, prosper their businesses.
And then we talked last time, and for those who weren't with us last time, shame on you, but for those folks that are around the world in 74 countries that now have posters of Ben over their lockers right now, SEMA decided to come to Detroit because?
Well, there were a few reasons. One, the SEMA Garage in Diamond Bar, California, which you alluded to, is the first location of the SEMA Garage, and that one was full. There's about a 3-month waiting list to get into the garage to use our emissions compliance program in Diamond Bar. So that was one thing. The other thing, one of the reasons for Detroit, or another reason for Detroit, is the access to the automotive OEs in the United States and really from around the world are in Detroit, and then the OE supply base, which is where a lot of the information, a lot of the technology, a lot of the things in the industry that we need to have access to really help our members, it resides here.
Yeah, and the reason why this place is almost, double the size of Diamond Bar?
Yeah, basically 3 times the size of Diamond Bar. So Diamond Bar is about 15,000 square feet. So it's about, we're at about 45,000 square feet here.
Yeah, and so since everything is so centrally located here, now this was a fabulous place to get. At how many feet? How many feet did you say square feet this is?
About 45,000.
And this also has all kinds of fun little bays. It is the first time we came here with Ben when he took us all around. This place is kind of like we call it the Cedar Point of high performance. There is a ton of things to do here. Now we have a dyno, right? We have a place where how many in that one bay where the project is going on right now. Mm-hmm. How many lifts are in there?
There are 4 lifts. So we have 2 2-post and 2 4-post lifts. BenPack has been a great partner for us on those. They actually donated those, which helped us stretch our dollar for the SEMA member, which was really cool. And the SEMA Business Women's Network is in there right now doing a build on a Bronco that they're going to unveil at the SEMA Show. So we're excited to have them. It brings a lot of energy to the facility, and that's really cool to see come together.
Okay, so now as we pulled the chute, how did we get a SEMA women's group?
Well, we have different councils in SEMA. A lot of SEMA is networking, right? And being able to network with your peers in the industry. And the SEMA Business Women's Network is just that, right? It's a business women's network where they can come together and they do educational training, they do charity work. In this case, this Bronco will be built and then it'll be shown at the SEMA Show, and then it's going to go on a tour around the United States and be shown. And then in the end, it's going to be auctioned off for charity, which is, again, giving back, and I think that's a really cool part of the project as well.
It is unique that SEMA is all about networking because the lady that we saw in the parking lot, unfortunately, she is...
I mean, there's a lot of different folks that come in and out of the door on the SEMA Business Women's Network, but just so many talented people here, and she lives not far from here, and
she does off-road stuff, and we're going to have her on the 515 show coming up somewhere in December. But a fabulous story, and now that she is part of the women's group here in SEMA, how does somebody become part of the women's group? I mean, how many different groups are there? Like the teen group? I mean, women's group?
Yeah, great question. There are multiple different councils that come through, emerging trends and technology, and then there's the off-road councils, there's the wheel and tire council. So I'd have to get you a count on exactly how many.
Wheel
but
and
if
tire council?
if you can think of it, there's a council for it. I mean, it's great. It's got a high coverage for the industry, and again, they focus on a lot of education and networking and coming together to solve the industry's problems, kind of cross business, right? Where they may be competitors on the street, but they come together to solve problems for the industry, which is really, it's a neat place to be.
Now, of all the bays, again, we have the dyno, we have the one where you can do 3D printing.
Yep. That's also in our installation center, along with the hoist that you mentioned with the SEMA Business Women's Network. So that's really cool. Yeah, we've got a four-wheel alignment rack in there.
Wow.
We've got an ADAS Technology Center, which is one of the first in the country that we're aware of, especially to study the effects of aftermarket parts on.
We better say what ADAS
system.
is.
Good point. Yeah, it's Advanced Driver Assistance System. So, and those are things. It's kind of an umbrella term that could be used for automatic emergency braking, the forward collision warning, lane keep assist, all the blind spot detection, all those things that help you maneuver your vehicles more safely on the roads.
Yeah, it's like those little dots that are in your bumper right now. The ones where if you get too close, a little light blinks up. But now they're taking it a couple steps further. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Some of the sensors on the cars are incredible. They're using LiDAR and radar and things that look up almost 500 meters out from the vehicle, in some cases. So way in front, trying to predict what's going to happen with traffic and doing some things like that. So, and really trying to keep people safe earlier instead of just jamming on the brakes later.
Oops. Yeah, I mean, that's some of the early stuff was, and they were trying to show is that at night, if you could see like kids walking across the street that you normally wouldn't be able to see with the human eye, that this thing would light up and stuff. And I mean, but that's just in the infancy. I mean, there's so much room to grow.
Yeah, and the really fun part of it too is that, as you mentioned, it's integrated into the dashboard. It's integrated into your seat, right? When it can vibrate on the lane lines. I mean, it's really integrated throughout the vehicle, and that's what we're trying to understand is those impacts when we make changes to the vehicle, the impacts to those systems as a whole, and what that impact is. So that's what the ADAS Technology Center is really about.
Gotcha. All right, so that's 3. We have. I'm trying to think of all the bays. I'm starting from this one. I'm going all the way down.
Yeah, so we have our emissions test cell, right? That's kind of our bread and butter. That's been a really successful program in Diamond Bar. That's the one that I mentioned has a 3-month backlog for our SEMA members to come through and basically get their emissions compliance. So, which obviously is a huge emphasis. And our members they want to play by the rules. They want to do things that are environmentally sound. We're not out there just trying to tear up the rule book and do burnouts on the law that they just passed. We really want to be good citizens, and that's one of the ways that we are trying to do that is through the emissions compliance program. So that's one of the cornerstones of the SEMA Garage in both Diamond Bar and Detroit is that program. And then next to that, as you mentioned, John, is the chassis dyno. So the chassis dyno right next door will help us to do mileage accumulation and prep the vehicle to go in and do the emissions testing for the tailpipe testing for emissions, as well as now California is actually requesting that we submit horsepower verification numbers along with the emissions tailpipe test results. So,
oops. So that Hellcat just doesn't have 300 horsepower anymore. I mean, it's like back in the day when the 426 Hemis only had like 425 horse. Wink, Yeah. But, and we talked about this before. I mean, how SEMA wants to work hand in hand as we can help out with even everything that's going on with the R.P.M. Act. We're going to touch briefly on real quick is that SEMA wants to help with the EPA, and it's like, look, we can be the bridge. We can all be on the same team. We're not going to be battling each other because we can't go anywhere if we got one foot on the brake, one on the gas. So if SEMA can say, look, give us your parts, give us your high-performance parts, we'll do our magic certification, we'll make sure that we get you all the paperwork ready, and we will send it to the EPA. The EPA says, boom, 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 great. and we won't have the headaches, and we won't have all this stuff going on. So SEMA really does want to be the friend of everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to kind of reach across the table to, the EPA and CARB as well as the SEMA members and be that bridge between the two. Yeah, well said.
To be a member of SEMA, there's two different versions of membership. There's the corporate and there's the average Joe.
Yeah, there's the SEMA business membership, which is more about the manufacturers and the folks who make the parts that the end consumer buys. And then there's also the SEMA individual membership, which was just rolled out recently, which is basically the individuals or the enthusiast, the end consumer, who can also become a member of SEMA. And what that allows us to do is use your voice to be able to help influence the legislation and make sure that we protect our industry and protect our hobby for the long term.
Yeah, and there's also, if you're an individual member, right, it's $40 or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yep.
And that gives you a cash bar on Fridays here. No, just kidding. But
That would be new. Let's talk more about that, John.
at all Lions games on Sunday, this is a big screen TV after a while. Yeah, what a way to get them in. Free beer, friends. Anyways, but as an individual, and we get a lot of questions about this, an individual membership, you can't bring in your 69 Chevelle and use the dyno and stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately not. That we're really reserving that for our SEMA business members. But we will be doing enthusiast-facing events. We will be doing some of that stuff in the facility. We will have open houses and things where we will invite the general public and the enthusiasts to come into the facility.
If I have a $40 membership and someone's doing a discussion upstairs, a guest speaker comes in, is that for the average Joe membership, or is that? Or depending on how that goes.
Yeah, I was going to say, depending on the situation, John, it could be. Yeah.
Okay. But talking on the situation, evidently the SEMA Big Show in Vegas, which I believe is coming up,
It is.
yeah, it's coming up, and that's right before the SEMA Show in Detroit. Oh! That's not going to be here just yet. No, we're not, but we're just kidding.
We'll keep working on that, John.
I'm telling you, we did that last time because wouldn't it be so fun if we could just have one in the Midwest? Gee, that sounds like a great idea. Wink. Anyways, the SEMA show in Vegas is huge. It's always been huge, and it's always been something to go to. And so now that's coming up when?
Yeah, November 1st through the 4th is the SEMA show this year. So I'm actually going to get there a day early so I can spend Halloween in Vegas, which is always fun. So, John, get your costume and come on out. We'll hang out.
I was going to say, what do you dress up when you're in Vegas? How do you dress up as? Elvis?
It's a surprise, John.
Dress up as okay. I'm just thinking of other people you could dress up as. Chris Holbrook. I mean, who do you dress up as?
Yeah, I was thinking of going as Elon Musk this year, so.
Oh boy!
The possibilities.
Oh, what we're going to do is we're going to take you to the first bank we see and say, "Mr. Musk would like to make a withdrawal, please." How dare you insult him by making out a slip?
That's right.
Just give him the cash.
I'm representing the Boring Company.
Yeah, that's right. And we got to get back to the tunnel. So if you could give the man his couple of $1 million, we'll be on our way.
That's right.
That's amazing. This year they had the SEMA show, and they haven't because of COVID, right? I mean, there was like a little timeout, obviously, for everything.
So last year was our first year back for the show after COVID, and all things considered, with COVID still around and pretty prevalent last year this time, I thought we had a great show last year, all things considered. It was great to get back together with a lot of folks that we hadn't seen for a while. It was great to see a lot of the builds come together. I got to help with the Battle of the Builders out in there, which was really cool to see. So, but this year is going to be, even better. I was looking at the numbers earlier, and we're about 25% up on our numbers from last year already.
Really?
Yeah, and so we're looking at 1,800 exhibitors that have come in this year.
1,800?
Yeah, we're looking at over 1 million square feet of show space that we're going to be taking up. So it's going to be a great show this year. It's going to be a strong show, and I'm excited to see hopefully a lot of the folks who are listening to this, and you as well, John.
Oh, good. We'll
In
go
your
in your
Halloween
plain
costume.
Yeah, Elvis and Elon Musk walk into a bar.
Well, I think we've settled that.
Okay, fine.
I'll see you at the Westgate Bar.
Yeah, I'll be right by your jet. After this, we'll go to Romania and we'll go to Budapest and say hi to all your fans. Matter of fact, we were just talking off mic before about this, but there is a last one that we did is that somehow, some way, Ben resonated with half of the world. And his numbers in Budapest and Romania and obviously in the UK and all that stuff around the world and stuff just were off the charts. And so for ladies that are in Romania and Budapest and in Scotland right now, there will be a tour of Ben. He'll be doing the tour 2023, going to your city. Anyway, so
in my Elon Musk costume.
You could get away with that, honest to God. I mean, how many people actually seen the guy up close? Not really.
That's true.
Just
fair.
keep walking. Anyways, if you're walking, the difference between, and we had this question before, the difference between the SEMA Show in Vegas and PRI.
Yeah, so the SEMA Show is really for more of the on-road market. That's primarily the focus of the SEMA Show is on-road performance and things that and again, with the emissions compliance program, we're looking for things to go on-road, right?
Right.
Whereas the PRI Show in Indianapolis in December is really more focused on the off-road serious racing performance market.
Yeah, so when we mean off-road, we don't necessarily mean going in the desert and jumping all around. We mean for those not going on I-75.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be dirt track racing. It could be IndyCar. It could be Formula One. That's the
Formula One stuff is there? Because I remember trying to see that.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of products that especially start out in Formula One and maybe flow down to some other racing series. Or there for sure there are a lot of the suppliers that work in Formula One there that bring a lot of the Formula One products for folks to see, and it's a really cool show. It's the PRI show outside of the SEMA show is one of my favorite shows of the year. I
was going to say the difference between the two shows, and just say, because is there an overlap? I mean, are there people that go that are as an exhibitor at SEMA?
Absolutely. Yeah, there actually is quite a lot of overlap, especially for the machinery aspect of the show and a lot of the equipment. There is a lot of, people that I run into in Vegas, I end up running into at PRI. So,
and soon Detroit. Just kidding. I'm just pulling you. I'm sure that people in California right now are going, "What? When is this happening?" Maybe we get like a she shed, and it's like, here you go. It's Detroit. Anyways.
I hear my phone buzzing in my office.
Yeah, I feel the ejector seat starting to happen. Anyways, when we do this stuff over at PRI, especially for the folks who in our area are drag racing, the reason not everybody can go, right? To PRI, because it used to be, I think, open to the public, if I'm not mistaken, and now you have to have some kind of.
There was, and I would have to get into the details and study it more, but there was some business relevancy from years past. But the focus on the SEMA show and the PRI show really is the business to business aspect of the industry, right? So it's more business to business than it is business to end consumer.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's not like people are trying to be. It was almost like a Comic-Con, but for high performance parts, and you go and you see the latest and the greatest and all that stuff. And that was a thrill. It really was. But PRI, last year was our first year that we went. And before we went, it was like, "You going to PRI? Yeah. Oh, you're going to love it. Why? You're going to love it. Why?" Now we see why. We knocked down 2 pairs of Nike, in the 3 days that we were there.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But we should also say, who owns PRI?
So PRI is under the SEMA umbrella, actually.
See how that works out?
Yeah. Well placed, John. Yeah. So
well done.
Yeah. So SEMA, obviously the SEMA show and the PRI show roll up under the SEMA umbrella. So we kind of have it covered from one end to the other, meaning on-road, performance as well as the off-road and the racing and the industry as well.
it's amazing how vendors can sign up for it. And it's not like big deal. You just type on a computer or something. But there's such a wide array of stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I always I try to plan my route a little bit so I can hopefully keep it to one pair of Nikes, especially with the price of Nikes right now. But
If you can get them.
yeah. So I usually try to map mine out, and it's amazing. You just type in whatever part you're looking for. You look for fuel pumps, and there's 15 companies that come up, and you're like, wow, they're all over the place. And so you type in spark plugs, and there's 10 companies that come up. So it is amazing, and it's amazing the breadth of the industry. It's amazing how strong the industry is for all the different aspects of it, and you can find whatever you want from whether it's an ABS unit for a race car to tires to different camshafts to valve train components to diesel fuel injectors that
everything
once came out of a locomotive that are repurposed to truck pulling. So
yeah, really, if somebody could only put a Cummins in a station wagon, that'd be cool.
wouldn't it be?
Wouldn't it? There is the SEMA cars. I mean, there's always some kind of stuff at the SEMA show in Vegas. There's always some kind of big deal car, some kind of revealing, I should say. I know there's one that may be around here somewhere. Now, there's going to be other cars, too, this year, isn't there? Or is that kind of gone by the wayside?
No, I mean, so the Battle of the Builders competition is always really fun. A competition, to see a lot of the cool cars that people have built over the past year or years, more like. So that's a really neat way to see it. But there's a lot of innovation this year. One of the new aspects of the show, which is really cool, is called SEMA Electrified, which is the portion of the show that's really focused on electric vehicles, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see a lot of the electric vehicles, both that are electric vehicles that have been customized and ICE vehicles that have been turned into electric vehicles.
Because that now is coming up like crazy, because now, as you well know, Chevrolet or GM has their version of an electric crate motor. And allegedly Chrysler or whoever you are nowadays, it was so much easier before when they were just Chrysler. Just stop, I mean, that was the easier thing. However, there was an El Camino that we saw at last year's PRI, and that was just getting their toe into it. Where now, if you have like an old El Camino or whatever, General Motors will be more than happy to sell you an electric motor to fit inside of it. Don't worry about putting in another 350 if that's not where you're going to. So now SEMA is really looking into doing a lot of electrified stuff because it's coming. Or it's here. I shan't say it's coming.
Yeah, so we've really tried to look forward, and we've actually hired a director of vehicle technology who's focused a lot on the electrification of vehicles and how do we approach that from the aftermarket, both from the aspect which is of taking an ICE vehicle and converting it to an electric vehicle, and also doing what we always do in the industry, and that's hot rodding the vehicle that we have, right? So those are the two aspects that we're really focusing on, and SEMA Electrified is going to address that, and it's going to be a cool part of the show for sure. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see what people are doing with those. Like you said, with the GM electric crate motor, and I know Ford has an Illuminator, and there's rumored from Dodge that is what they're going to do, and I guess Stellantis. So anyway, it's going to be kind of neat to see. There's just so much in the industry that's exciting right now. I mean, not just the traditional let's burn fuel in a big block, but the new technologies from the electrified side for sure are really, really cool. And it opens up a lot of opportunity in the industry to do some different things that maybe people hadn't done in the past.
So what are they going to do here for electrified? I mean, here at Garage Detroit.
Yeah, so we're actually set up. We can test electric vehicles here, and we're looking into a lot of that as to how we actually do range certification for electric vehicles. So we're looking into doing some testing there on our emissions dyno, actually, with range. Basically, you kind of measure power into the battery, and then you measure power out of the battery, and you estimate an estimated range, and that's really how you kind of certify those vehicles, rather than actually doing a tailpipe emissions test. In this case, we'd be doing more of the range calculations.
I mean, when you do that, is the EPA and the government know that you do this? I mean, are they knocking on your door saying, can we see some of your numbers, or do you tell them? Or because the whole thing goes on, it's say Ford, just say, comes in with an electric car that we haven't seen. It'll be on the road in 2025. and they come to you and say, "Can you run some numbers? We're kind of busy at Ford doing Ford things. You know, we're seeing Brian Wolf and with the Godzilla motor. Can you do this electronic deal for a moment?" When that car comes to you, is there like a set protocol of things for you to do, or do they just say, "Here, we want you to do A, B, and C, and let us know how things go"?
I guess it depends on the testing regimen that they want to do. There's development testing, which could be,
Right,
different
yeah.
things, right? Trying different things. Maybe it's trying different tires. Maybe it's trying different
Oh, that's
different
right.
cooling on the vehicle. It could be, so there could be a lot of development testing that we could do to actually say what gets the best range, right?
Right.
Or there is also the certification process, which you alluded to, which is basically how far can the vehicle drive on a given charge, and that's something that we would, like you mentioned, certify, and we would present the paperwork to CARB and the EPA, and we would say, okay, that's how far the vehicle can drive on a charge, and so that would actually be the paperwork needed to give that range for the vehicle.
Wow. It's amazing. Talk about also amazing. I know in the couple minutes that we have left, we know that there's going to be, for the membership and stuff like that, coming in here soon. Is there going to be any new, is there speakers coming in? Is there something that we should be looking for at the SEMA Garage Detroit Facebook page? What's coming? What's new? For those who are camping outside, here's the inside skinny.
So one of the things that we're going to be excited to do is to get our actually tailpipe emissions test program and compliance program up and running here in Detroit.
How long is that going to take?
So we're anticipating that's going to be in January of 2023 is when we're going to be able to start that program up. So we have the dyno commission now. We're working on commissioning the emissions benches and all the measurement equipment that we need to be able to do that. So that's not a short process. And then it has to be blessed by CARB and the EPA because to be able to accept and recognize the results from this emissions lab. So that's a little bit of a process that we need to go through yet. So that's going to be one thing to look forward to at the SEMA Garage Detroit. Another thing is our 3D scanning and vehicle measurement programs. So that's a really cool program. Not only do we get CAD data directly from the OEMs, the nominal CAD data from the OEMs for our membership to design from, which is one aspect of it. But the CAD data that we don't or can't get from the OEMs, we can actually go out and get the vehicle and scan it here. And we have a scanner that's it's really quick. We can scan a vehicle in about half a day, an entire vehicle. We can do suspension pickup points. We can scan the interior, the exterior. We can scan tires. We can scan, and it's accurate down to about 25 microns, which is it's an unbelievable scale that you can actually measure things to just with this scanner
And be able to 3D print.
Absolutely. Yeah, another aspect of it for sure is 3D printing and rapid prototyping for customers. So we Stratasys has actually provided that 3D printer for us, so we've been fortunate with that. And we can go in and we can actually print parts in Diamond Bar and have them shipped anywhere in the country from Detroit, or they can print parts on our printer as they're linked on the network.
Wow.
So we can actually print parts where it makes sense and get those out and get them done in short order for our customers to use.
So if you're, and we used this guy last time, if you're Bob's Headers, if you're Bob and you're thinking about making
Bob's
headers.
back.
Yep, Bob's back. Bob's Header doing well.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you're Bob's Headers and you don't know how to go through this crazy paperwork, because it's just not about bending some tubes, putting it on the side of a fine Plymouth 340D, and go. There is a whole lot more stuff. SEMA's going to be your friend to help you cut through all that stuff because, man, I wish there was somebody that was holding our hand going up, And so that's why you want to get a membership here. And we're not here to hawk memberships or anything, but everything that we see here, it's because memberships, they start at $50,000 and go up. You give me the check, and I will make sure you get right up on top of the membership paper.
Make the check out to cash, please, John.
Yeah, that's my Vegas fund. Anyways, no, it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, so for a SEMA membership, you'd be looking somewhere between $100 and $1,000 is what you'd be looking at a year, which is really good value, and we hope. I still think that SEMA Garage is still one of the best kept secrets, and
Not anymore.
I hope through programs like yours that we can get the word out and have more and more of our SEMA members use the SEMA Garage.
Is there going to be? I know that we were talking about it before, and we, you're just getting up and running right now. But is there going to be where folks, just normal humans, can come on a Saturday? Normal humans don't drag race, anyways. Is where they can get a tour of this place?
Again, we're going to try to do
Soon.
some open houses. We're going to try to do some community-facing things where, if you're interested and you want to come see the technology, you want to come see.
Yes.
Why should
do.
I buy a component from a SEMA manufacturer versus some other manufacturers, for example? Why maybe should I pay the extra money for those products? And I think it really lies in the development and the completeness of the development.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we will stop that right now. Anyways, Ben, thanks an awful lot for being with
John,
us
always
here
a
at
pleasure.
your
Thank
place.
you.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. So, if you want to get more information about what's going on at the SEMA Garage Detroit, they can go to. There's a Facebook page or a website.
Yep. So SEMAgarage.com is where I would send them to go, and they can get more information on if they're looking for contact information that's on there, or more of the services and menu of services that we have in the garage. That information would all be there.
And they can also sign up for memberships, individual and whatnot. Okay, and the big money people. Come on, big money people, damn it, hurry, I got to get to Vegas. Oh, again, for the manager general, and that's what he is, damn it, don't you dare call him the general manager here, because we don't want to. Ben Kaminsky, this is John Sarver for CKiW iRADIO 76. Thank you so very much for being with us at the SEMA Garage Detroit Performance Report. How'd you like that? Got everybody